All right, Tuesday, March 4th, 2025, City Council meeting. I'll ask the clerk to call the roll.
Councilman Munger.
Here.
Councilman Haycraft.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Dobson.
Here.
Councilman Cohen.
Here.
Councilman Phillips.
Here.
Mayor Lauderman.
Here. There being a quorum present, I'll call the meeting to order. I'll ask Councilman Munger to do the invocation, please.
Well, Lord, we come before you and we thank you that we can gather here this evening. Lord, we ask you to bless us with your wisdom in this place tonight. Lord, we ask you to guide us. May this community be better because of what is done today. We thank you. It's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, need approval of the agenda for tonight.
Moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? I need approval of the minutes, regular scheduled council meeting for February 18th.
I do have a correction on the paragraph which Ms. Azote presented. She referenced insurance, and it reads decrease, but should be increase. And I checked with the clerk on that. So I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as amended.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Need approval of payroll and claims, second half, February 2025.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, April.
Can I bend this up? Last time I was like kind of squatting. I'm like, I didn't know if. Perfect, thanks. I didn't want to break it. Okay. Hannibal is America's hometown. I'm proud to live and work in the same neighborhood where Sam Clemens, Tom Blankenship, and Laura Harkins grew up. Of course, the world knows them as Tom Sawyer, Huckleberry Finn, and Becky Thatcher. The world comes to Hannibal because of them, and we welcome our guests with open arms, respect, and kindness. The people of Hannibal also deserve to be treated by the city government with open arms, respect, and kindness. It shouldn't be confrontational. It should be a conversation about how we can make Hannibal a better place and live and work together. It's no secret that the number two things that I come up here and ask questions for, and myself and many others in the community not only want as well as but expect, especially after taking an oath to do so, is transparency and accountability. With that being said, the last council meeting, Councilman Munger, you proposed something that, in my opinion, made it more difficult for people in the community to come before you and not only express concern, but get answers. And I just wanted to make sure that I understand this correctly. But with what you proposed, that even if someone comes before you for public speaking portion, with what you propose, all of you can choose whether or not to answer to anybody coming before you. Or was that just for on the agenda? I just wanted to make sure that I understood it correctly. So with what you proposed the last council meeting, you proposed it, and then James, I believe, said that there's a stipulation in there whether or not you guys have the option to answer any of our questions. I just want to make sure I understood if that was for like
public comments is where there's no response that is required.
So I did understand that correctly. So if somebody comes before you in the public speaking comment, that you're saying that you don't have to answer any of our questions, or anybody that comes before you?
Not necessarily at that time, no.
Okay. I just want to make sure I understood that, because the council meeting, even before that, I had thanked you, Haycraft, and the mayor for voting in favor of transparency. And then I feel like what you proposed kind of contradicted it. So I just want to make sure that was the correct way that I was understanding it.
If I can respond to that, though, we don't want to limit anyone's ability to share or bring forth. The whole purpose behind that is, I mean, even like right now, you have a question I don't have any problems answering.
But it's just certain questions that you have a problem answering.
But there might be times when someone brings something that we're not aware of, that we're not fully informed on. And it wouldn't be very wise of us to begin discussing something if we're not fully informed on.
So if somebody comes before you and informs you with facts, with proof, and asks you a question, would that be fair to answer? Or to say that you would look, do you understand what I'm saying?
Again, I think it's always something to look into. Okay.
Again, I'm asking in regards to the last council meeting. Any meeting I've ever spoke at that anybody up there feels like I've said or asked something in regards to anything you feel isn't true, I would personally like you to tell me what you think isn't true so that I can provide you with the proof, because I've only come before you guys with facts, with proof, with evidence, and every time I have that on me to provide to you, that I'm more than happy to give to you guys at any time, versus being cut off and basically made to look like a liar. For example, at the last council meeting, I had asked in regards to, you don't have to answer to citizens, and James said he did not say that. I went back and watched my live, and he did in fact say that. So I'm never going to be made to look like a liar. I always come before you guys with proof and evidence. So if any council meeting I've ever spoke at, you feel like I have said something that's not true, again, please reach out to me. I'm more than happy to provide you with that evidence or proof at any point in time. So with that being said, if the council chooses to not answer any of my questions or anybody else's when they come before you, I also expect nobody to rebuttal at all and to instead at least sit and listen to my truth. To me, time is money, and I appreciate all the time that you guys give me. What I don't appreciate is not being given the same amount of time that everybody else has been given. And I know that at times, sometimes what I'm saying or asking might come across the wrong way, but you all have to keep in mind, a lot of you are new to being on council since I started coming to council. And so I've been treated a certain way by certain people up there. So it's extremely frustrating to me when I just feel like it's a pattern. Nobody seems to want to listen to me or be held accountable. So that's where my frustration lies. But again, I appreciate all the time that you guys give me. And I truly hope that not only myself, but anybody else that comes before you, you take into consideration what we're saying, and whether you choose to discuss it like in that moment or later. Like, I truly hope that you guys look into some of the things that citizens are making aware and bringing before you for the sake of everybody in the community.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Thank you, April.
All right. So tonight we are interviewing 4 candidates for to fill the vacant 5th ward seat for the next year until the next municipal election next April. We have 4 candidates, and we'll just go in order that we have on here. We do have a list of questions. If the council would like, I will read the questions. If there's anything on that question that you'd like to get clarification on, just let me know, and we'll move in that direction. And after we've talked, I believe the last time, did we not ask everybody to leave the room? That's ourselves and brought it back. How we did that with
You have everybody leave the room now and come in one at a time.
Perfect. So,
All the candidates would go with Officer Flax back there, and he will take you out. And you'll come in one at a time as called in.
so Bill, you'll be first, so if you want to just stick around here. Come on up to the podium there, Bill. So, real quickly, if you could just introduce yourself and tell us just a little bit about yourself per your letter.
Okay.
And then we have some questions we'd like to
It's
ask.
a pleasure to be here. My name is Bill Dixon. I've lived in Hannibal for over 20 years. I moved here when I retired from the military after 21 and a half years. I've lived in Oakwood for about 20 years, so I've enjoyed it. I've been working my whole life here, and now that I have time to retire, I figure it's time to get active. So that's why I'm here tonight, is to try to help out the community.
So let's get right into it, I guess. It says, why are you interested in representing the 5th Ward of the City of Hannibal, and what experience do you possess that would aid you in being an effective council?
Well, I do believe that I've lived there, like I said, for 20 years, and gotten to know a lot of people, and I see the issues that a lot of people face, and I would like to try to bring that to the front and try to get those things taken care of. Like I said, I have a lot of time to concentrate on. And what was the second?
What experience do you feel you possess that would help you to be an effective council?
Well, like I did 21 and a half years in the military with a varied career. State Department. Very stringent duty there. I believe I have the patience, and I don't really have the greatest answer right now, but
Okay. What do you perceive as the biggest challenge facing Hannibal today, and how would you like to see those challenges addressed?
well, from what I've seen at the prior city council meetings, the biggest issue is, I guess, the fire department, right? Our first responders, right? So I feel we need to take care of them. We need to support them, and I feel like I would do anything that I can to support them.
How familiar are you with the city's budget and its limitations? How would you approach managing a budget to prioritize community needs? I guess that's the whole question.
Right, the budget, as far as I remember, what, $12 million is the city budget? Sounds like a lot, but you have all the departments and everybody wants their money. I can see that it's not an easy thing to do. Without seeing, I know it's online, and I haven't had a chance to look at it all. I feel like we need to dissect it department by department and see where we can make cuts, and cuts where we can.
Describe your approach to making informed decisions on complex issues, especially when there are very different.
Well, luckily we live in an age where everything we need to know is on our phone, so therefore research is very easy. So I would take research that I gather along with input from the people, community, and the city council themselves to make a common sense decision. I think that's really what I am. Common sense.
Have you ever had to make a difficult decision that was unpopular with a large group of people? And how did you navigate that situation?
Well, that's tonight. No, I'm just joking. But today's my birthday, and they wanted me to go out, but I said, no, I am going to the city council. So, here I am. Well, I mean, haven't we all made tough decisions? Off the top of my head, Mayor, I'll get back to you.
Hey, Mr. Dixon, if it may be a little uncomfortable, if you could actually lean into the mic.
Absolutely.
It's not tall enough for many, but if you could keep that in mind.
Absolutely.
If selected as the 5th Ward representative, what are the goals and objectives, not only to the 5th Ward, but the city as a whole, that you would want to see accomplished? And I'll preface that by saying that I've always emphasized that each council member is the spokesperson for their ward, but you're also the spokesperson for the city as a whole, because the council as a whole is the one that makes the decision.
Well, as for the Fifth Ward, I do believe there are several issues. We have some houses that are need to be that maybe tore down, maybe something done. Potholes are always an issue, and I'm sure that's not just the Fifth Ward. I'm sure it's about everywhere. As for like the input is what I'm talking about. Input from the citizens and try to handle those situations as they come.
Speaking of input, how would you engage the citizens of the Fifth Ward to get their input on what they feel may be necessary problems or fixes for them?
Well, hopefully, I do know the City Council has a Facebook and email that they can contact us. And of course, they can always call me. And I'm always walking my dog every evening around 5, so they can always find me there.
Find you where?
Walking his dog.
Walking my
walking
dog.
your dog, okay.
Right along St. Charles Street.
I do have one question. I noticed a retired Navy. I happen to be a retired Air Force myself, but what job or jobs did you do in the
I was
Navy?
a Navy CB,
A CB.
A
Okay,
CB,
so
yes.
construction.
construction, yes.
Have you done anything since getting out that might be
I was an
help you in your
operations
job here?
manager for U.S. Cable of Coastal Texas. I was a cable company before Spectrum bought it out.
Okay,
We
thank
appreciate
you.
it.
All right, thank you.
Happy birthday, and thank you for your
Yes, happy
service.
birthday. You can stay in the room now if you like.
We need Paul Anderson. Paul, how are you? Good. So, start with, we have a list of questions that we'll ask, but why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself first, what you've done, and we'll go from there.
Right. I was born and raised in Los Alamos, New Mexico.
Okay, Paul, can you move it a little farther? Yeah. Speak right into it.
Sorry, I'm a little short.
Perfect.
There, perfect.
I was born and raised in Los Alamos, New Mexico, northern New Mexico. As a teenager, I had a lawn care business, worked at a grocery store, bagged groceries. When I was 17 years old, I decided to join the Air Force. I did 20 years in there. 2 different career fields. I was an aircraft equipment craftsman and also a heavy equipment operator. During my time as an aircraft guy, I was in Guam, Italy, and Whiteman Air Force Base. My time as a heavy equipment operator, I was actually stationed at Cannon Air Force Base, Special Ops. Oversaw a 35-man shop and oversaw a 70,000-acre bombing range. Retired in 2021, moved here. And since I've been here, I've bought 2 homes, completely remodeled 2 different neighborhoods. I also worked at Central Stone for a while, enjoyed some equipment operating there as well. My time in the Air Force, I volunteered quite a bit, anywhere from security details with the Kansas City Chiefs, mowing lawns for deployed veterans, and even working at an elementary school on field days. That's kind of the things I like to do.
Got some questions here. So, why are you interested in representing the Fifth Ward in the city of Hannibal, and what experiences do you possess that you think would aid you in being effective?
Well, I definitely haven't done any kind of work for like a government position like this. I love living in Hannibal. There are definitely a lot of ups and downs here, a lot of things that could be better. I've lived all over the world. I've seen a lot of things, a lot of different communities, some good, some bad. And what I would like to offer is my experiences from other communities that I've found good there and bring them, make this a better place for everyone.
What do you perceive as the biggest challenges facing today? How would you address those?
The biggest challenges I see would definitely be budget issues. And I think as a councilman, I would be very fiscally responsible with our money. go through the budget with a fine-tooth comb, find any of the entities that are getting maybe that have an overage of money, put those in the pots that need the money at the time.
How familiar are you with the city's budgets and its limitations, and how would you approach managing a budget to prioritize?
I've looked it over online quite a few times. I couldn't exactly speak to dollar figures. That familiar with it? But I would like to sit down, go over the budget completely. Go.
Describe your approach to making informed decisions on complex issues, especially when there are different viewpoints. Find it.
So as far as complex issues, I know as a councilman, it's not my job to know everything, but it is my job to know who to speak to find the professional answers for that question.
And then, have you ever had to make a difficult decision that was unpopular with a large group of people, and how did you navigate that situation?
My time in the Air Force, I had to make quite a few. Sometimes you just have to deal with it, positive or negative.
If selected as the 5th Ward representative, what are your goals and objectives, not only for the 5th Ward, but the city that you would wish to accomplish? As I've said, I'll repeat this for everybody, is when you're a councilman, it doesn't matter what ward, it's your duty to represent that ward, but the greater duty is also to represent the council is a decision. City. So that's bear in mind. You know, it's not just a one dimension thing. It's several.
Yes, sir. I completely agree with you. I'm definitely not here to compete with anyone. I would like to collaborate and work with everyone that's sitting up here to make Hannibal a better place in general. I think Hannibal is suffering with mental health, a lot of mental health issues, a lot of crime issues. I would like to maybe see that we get some more police officers. And also, I believe that Hannibal would do better with maybe some physical fitness aspect, but some outside kind of something like that. I have some ideas, but nothing. I love the Parks and Rec department, the way that they handle things, all the outside activities that we have here. That's something I definitely focus on.
Then the last question is, how will you actively engage the residents of the 5th Ward? Better understand.
So I'm not only interested in the 5th Ward, I would like to go around the city, speak to local business owners, and not only local business owners, but citizens, specifically 5th Ward on my part, my neighborhoods. I would like to go door to door, talk to some folks, ask if they have any issues, and have them bring those up. Of course, all of us, all the councilmen, don't have all the answers. It's not always the government's job to have all the answers. Not the government. The government doesn't always know everything. So we definitely need community's help on some issues.
Anybody have any?
Yes, I'm going to ask everybody the same question.
Right.
As I explained to the one that was in here before, gentleman before you, he's retired military as well. So am I. What experiences, I know from personal experience, a lot of different things that can apply that you can use toward the job as councilman. What do you see that you've done in the past that you can apply directly to the duties of a councilman?
I would say the biggest one that I dealt with in the Air Force was called fraud, waste, and abuse. And it pretty much pertains to the fiscal responsibility and the budgeting in the city. If people see things that are being wasteful, I feel like that right there can be reported to the city, and we kind of negate those things.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time. Appreciate it.
For your service.
Sitting here.
Thank you.
Mr. Van Oos would be next. are you tonight?
Pretty good.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, a bit about your background and such, and then we'll get into some questions.
My name is Jeffrey Andrews. I was raised here. Life married here. All my employees been here. Work program. Just, facilitating, creating, trying to training out there, gotta make it faster. In that role, so I'm familiar with not creating a budget. I went to college here at MUC. I am a bachelor's in General Mills. I've just been here my whole life. I don't plan on going there, and I try to take it back to
Thank you. So, I have a just series of questions here. Why are you interested in representing the Fifth Ward, and what experience do you possess that would aid you in being an
leave my current employment, life countries that I've been 11 years. So I'm down and going. What would make me effective? Not only the corporate side of that, but also bringing reporting, quick splash.
What do you perceive as the biggest challenges facing Hannibal today, and how would you like to see those challenges?
Biggest challenge, in my opinion, slowly. Very much attracting players, but also solidifying more. Again, I back to get a lot of sound. Fell out of state. That's one thing. I'll be honest with you. A lot of them are station in housing options. Nice if we had a housing option. You're not.
How familiar are you with the city's budget and its limitations? How would you approach managing a budget to prioritize? So how familiar are you with the city's budget and its limitations, and how would you approach managing a budget to prioritize needs?
To be honest with you, the city budget itself, I'm not plugging as I said here. Bills on budget also change from since I'm not super.
Describe your approach to making informed decisions on complex issues, especially when there are different views.
Research. Internet is a vast network of ideas. Just like at work, if I ask for something with, I'll check out of it. So should be later.
Have you ever had to make a difficult decision that was unpopular with a large group of people, and how did you navigate that decision? Have you ever had to make a difficult decision that was unpopular with a large group of people, and how did you navigate that situation?
Many years ago, I was a manager at Walmart. Right now, where I was about so got the go ahead to cut out, and I had to prioritize
If selected as the Fifth Ward representative, what are the goals and objectives, not only for the Fifth Ward, but the city of Hannibal? And I'll go back to saying that as a councilman, it's your job to represent your ward, but it's also your job to represent the city as a whole, because it is the council that makes the decisions for the city. So you have to look at your ward and look at the city at the same time.
I would go back to, again, I would like to bring housing here as well. As far as representing my ward, I would plan to have a station in my ward. Way that majority of the vote, I could represent that way. So
And then lastly, how will you actively engage the residents of the Fifth Ward to better understand their concerns?
how would I more actively engage with them?
Right.
I would communication online, but I would probably also look out somewhere there.
That's all the questions I have. Bob has a question.
I'm trying to ask this to each candidate here that we have, and with your life experiences, a couple of them have been military. Yours doesn't happen to be, but you've worked General Mills, you've worked Walmart. I don't know of any other jobs, but those two you've mentioned specifically. How can those experiences, what skills do you have that you could bring right now to City Council?
I believe time management. Sorry. Not used to speaking. As I talked briefly, having these walks of life, that is my most long-standing. And having to deal with people from finance to Mills is our building, like 7 small, trying to work, and we're all not always super big emergency. Temper that by trying to address and assist them and have to temper that expectation.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Van Hoos.
Last but not least, right? All right. So, Michael, tell us a little bit about yourself to start with here.
Okay, well, I grew up in Quincy, raised my family. And 2000 job, IT industry. So, IT industry, 10 years, keynote speaker, and I was a trainer, resell, sell, team, set up the structure, compensation. I retired in April 1st. April. They thought I really left. Moved to Hannibal, bought a building. So,
That works. All right, we just got a series of questions here that we've asked everybody. First one is, why are you interested in representing the Fifth Ward of the city in Hannibal? And what experience do you possess that would aid you in being an effective?
the reason I want to represent my life so busy all the time. But I really any of the. Here started some sidelines. Actually, she asked me. Kind of bad.
Okay.
So, what skills I have? I started my life. Not that I do that work anymore, I'm not, but I worked at Chaddock. I've always been business, trade. Order, that experience. The thing is, so I have to spend. I've chosen to be. So I have here, but I have no grievance. I have no agenda. I'm not looking to make any, big sweeping statement, but sure interested. I've never served.
Okay. What do you perceive as the biggest challenges facing Hannibal today, and how would you like to see those challenges?
Well, not just him. I believe in the Midwest. Like being in a fishbowl. Fish understand the travel, plants, and everything inside the fishbowl. They don't really know what's outside of it. I think sometimes vision outside the fishbowl can help bring different perspective to travel, and I think that's something that would handle. I think that I've been working on housing issue. Issue down outside down. So I'll still.
Okay. And how familiar are you with the city's budget and its limitations? And how would you approach managing a budget to prioritize community?
Not from I know. I understand that public administration change everybody. Value dollars. You have to be very fiscal. Return on investment spent. Not only making money, return.
Describe your approach to making informed decisions on complex issues, especially when there are different viewpoints involved.
Well, it's been always had to. How I've been a counselor. So, trying to not that dictates. Trying to understand the story, whether why they're sharing, and then I try to gather information and balance it, make a call on that.
Okay. Have you ever had to make a difficult decision that was unpopular with a large group? how did you navigate that situation?
No, I mean, I managed a team of engineers, and there were often big picture there. So I don't believe that you ever mentioned true and true and digest. I've never
If selected as Fifth Ward representative, what are the goals and objectives, not only for the Fifth Ward, but the city as a whole, that you wish to accomplish? And I'll preface that a minute, as I have with the other three, is as a councilman, it's your duty to look after the ward that you are the councilman has, but the bigger duty is to look after the city as a whole, because it is the council that makes the decisions that run the city. So not only do you have to look at your ward individually, but also the city.
Ugh. 3 years. And in I have done some their turn. I think understanding what they want. City offers. City. I'm not going to tell you.
And then how will you actively engage with the residents of the Fifth Ward to better understand their concerns, their specific?
Well, there's always get out there. I don't know not the best way to get communication out of the problem. But but I think if I let them know I'm available and we can sit down, meet people at the building, church, or whatever, give not that I can help.
I've asked each of the other three individuals with a multitude of backgrounds, some military, some General Mills, a wide gamut there. What life experiences and skills have you accumulated over your life that you feel you could bring to the council and aid them, help them?
Well, most of my experience
My wife might argue with you, but no.
where I would most, I was fortunate, I over the past 10 years, I was district paper, IT. I was from and I'm millions. 1/6. Big numbers at that time. Vast skill. Look at this vacuum. I look
Thank you.
Thank you. To have them leave, and then we'll figure this out. If I could have you guys step out, and
Thank you.
And we'll call you back in here shortly. I have to say, twice in a row that we've had to appoint a councilman. Got a very, not just diverse, but very well spoken.
That's exactly what I was thinking. All four very good.
Yes.
Wholeheartedly. I think there's things that I look for, and I know that there's things. How would you like to? You want to take a motion on each person? I think that's how we.
I think
did
that's
last time.
seems like a good way to start and then narrow down from there.
I would make a motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Councilman Munger, this would be a yes vote to appoint them. No vote.
Yes.
Can I ask a quick question? If we have more discussion of it, that then be reversed if we go a different direction? Or is it just flat out no, he's not?
I think each person he may take more than just one.
Okay. So
There's
this
discussion
isn't
on
this,
it.
okay.
The highest number of votes wins.
Okay.
If you have a tie, then back to discussion. Hopefully somebody will change somebody's mind.
Okay.
So you can take a vote on every candidate, and whoever has the most yes votes will be appointed to the seat. And if you tie, you back to discussion and go back to a motion and then
So if you want to discuss each one as we go, that's
Okay.
plus and minus. We haven't done a voice vote yet. So questions you'd like to discuss on Bill?
The big thing that spoke out to me obviously is budget. Being in a budget shortfall, someone that has the ability to work with that, Mr. Fleetwood that just spoke with that vast amount of knowledge and budgets that large.
I think that's a huge thing.
I think he's stood out, heads above the rest.
I think that's a huge thing. I truly do. I also think one of the things that I like to look at is longevity. For quite some time.
Right.
And living in their ward for quite some time. That carries a lot of weight. But that's lived in your ward for 20-some years versus 3 years. Notice more of what's going on. Especially if you're living in the heart of your, not necessarily on the fringes. So that's my opinion. I do.
My only argument,
Budget concern is also right.
being the advocate to that would be also the outside knowledge coming in. I've lived in other cities. I've seen other cities operate, like Mr. Anderson had mentioned. I thought he seemed like a well qualified candidate. Well.
Actually, 3 of the 4.
Yeah, they're all four very well
3 of the
qualified.
4 would bring a outside
Correct.
view to Hannibal, and one with lifetime.
Correct.
That's also.
Yeah.
I don't believe we're going to make a wrong decision tonight.
Correct.
No, I don't either.
I agree with that.
But my comment would be concerned Michael Fleetwood, the fourth gentleman, his business acumen, the way he explained himself, to me, both were big positives.
All right. Do we have any other
Yes,
discussion on anybody? Go ahead.
Yeah, I'd make a motion to.
Well, we've got a motion already out.
Got a motion.
We already have a
second on the
motion
floor.
For
for Mr. Dixon.
you have a motion on the floor by Mayor Lauderman and a second from Nathan Munger to appoint Bill Dixon to the seat.
So if you
So
want,
you
if
need
we're
to do a vote.
we need discussion, we can take this vote.
Ready? Voice vote?
Yep.
Councilman,
Yes.
Councilman Haycraft,
No.
Mayor Pro Tem Dobson,
No.
Councilman Cohen,
No.
Councilman Phillips,
No.
Mayor Lauderman.
Yes. All right. Paul Anderson. I would need a motion to entertain a motion to move him forward.
We're free to make a motion for any of the candidates, of course. Then I do make a motion to nominate Jeffrey Van Goose.
How about Paul Anderson? Ready for nominate for Paul?
I'll also make a motion to nominate Paul Anderson.
I'll second that.
Councilman Munger,
No.
Councilman Haycraft,
No.
Mayor Pro Tem Dobson,
No.
Councilman Cohen,
No.
Councilman Phillips,
Yes.
Mayor Lauderman.
Okay, that leaves Mr. Fleetwood.
I would make a motion for Michael Fleetwood.
I'll second.
Any discussion on it?
Well, yes, I was a little surprised at Mr. Fleetwood's, on at least two of the questions, is he actually claimed that not to have experience, a man of his age and range. I can scarcely believe that someone would claim that they had never had, that he'd never made it a difficult decision, unpopular with a large group of people, question number 5. And also on question number 4, describing your approach to making an informed decision on complex issues, and especially when there are different viewpoints. Again, I can scarcely believe that one of his age can claim no experience in that.
Councilman Phillips, I think on 5, he stated quite well in saying that he managed 45 engineers through IT firms. That's working pretty difficultly with multiple very sharp people and having to come to a conclusion.
And I believe what he also said, he didn't have an issue with it.
Correct.
Never that he had not done it, but he didn't have an issue doing it.
Well, I guess then I was a bit unclear. I thought that the point of the question was an unpopular decision, a large group of people, an existing unpopular decision.
But when you're representing 45 people, you're bound to come across unpopular decisions.
I thought it just would have been a stronger, life experience statement. And that's all. That's how I saw it. Thank you.
I think my only drawback on Mr. Fleetwood is his time in hand. And I'm not sure that's.
I understand that. I
do too.
I mean, I feel that along with all the other things, all the other questions that one of the things that we should always look at is community involvement, how long you, where you around in the, or if you more specific toward a long period of time. I think that carries weight.
Sure.
The insight or part of as we know, each part of this is vastly, everything is different, whether you're in the fourth ward or the first ward, the sixth, fifth, it's all different dynamic within.
Sure.
And I think that makes, to me, it carries a lot of weight that someone has been there for a long time. To me, even though Mr. Fleetwood's experience is very, very good, very, very well-rounded.
He's a chamber member. He's
Yeah,
active in
he
the
is very
community.
active in the chamber.
And that's
Yeah.
fine. I believe that. So I'm just, this is my opinion. I mean, you could say the same for Mr. Van Hoos, a lifetime resident of Hannibal. So, I mean, I think that carries a lot of weight. But ultimately, who we think is going to be the best fit for the county. That's what we have. Every one of these people had a plus.
Yes.
So very,
No
Very
doubt.
good.
Yes.
No, I agree 100%.
Yes.
so we've got a first and a second, correct?
Councilman Munger,
Yes.
Councilman Haycraft,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Dobson,
Yes.
Councilman Cohen,
Yes.
Councilman Phillips,
No.
Mayor Lauderman.
Yes. What's our next fit? I mean, that's what we think about it. Bring them in and let them know what. You could all come up for a minute, just real quick, come up here. First of all, as I spoke as we started our deliberation, it's the last time we had to fill a seat as an appointment was for the sixth ward, and we had 5 people sign up for that, and it was 5 very, very good. And I honestly didn't look for that, and we ended up with 4 super solid. One of you, exactly what we
Yes.
experiences and such. We went back and forth, and in the end, Mr. Fleetwood. This is a year appointment, so next April, regular election, that seat is up again. So I would encourage all of you in
Yes.
to that
Definitely.
also. And I also would like to extend the opportunity to serve on a number of boards. All of you fit very nicely. Consider that. If I was to approach you, or Lisa was to approach you, board, I would strongly recommend that. You guys really are outstanding candidates. This was not an easy decision for the 4 of you. I appreciate that you stepped forward to serve. I'm fond of saying that John F. Kennedy said there's nothing better than public service and to serve. That's so true. Public service is a calling that not many people heed, and those that most of the time find that it's something they enjoy. So, and that can be serving on a council, that can be serving as a mayor, it can be serving on a city board. Help better the city. So, once again, I thank all 4 of you. It was just outstanding group, and I will give it. I'll need a motion.
I'll
to
make
adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn sine die.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? What we will do is.
That's how I keep the council happy.
After 1 year, you can have one piece.
Oh, you get one piece after.
If you can wrest it away from Charlie.
He'll meet you, the mayor will meet you right there by the flag.
All right. Turn in real quick. And the charter and ordinance.
Charter.
Charge. And appointment, motion, or charge officers or employees. I will such matters I will act with. Thank you.
Oh, boy.
All right. I will now ask the clerk to call the roll.
Councilman Munger.
Here.
Councilman Haycraft.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Dobson.
Here.
Councilman Cohen.
Here.
Councilman Phillips.
Here.
Councilman Fleetwood.
Here.
And Mayor Lauderman.
Here, there being a quorum present, I'll call the meeting back to order. Under myself, I have recommendations for reappointments for Chad Collier, reappointment for Hannibal Housing for a term to expire in April of 2028. That's a first reading. And Hannibal Municipal Assistance Corporation, Michael Holliday, reappointment for a term to expire June of 2027. Again, first reading. And then I have a proclamation for AmeriCorps I'd like to give. Right up. Next week, AmeriCorps. Why? For a lot of but yeah. So
I got him. And mine will be on city social media tomorrow.
Great. Send me a.
I do.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Send me an email on Friday.
All right, Mr. Kramer.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, City Administration. Did you guys get the information Andy was sent to review? Okay, so tonight what I'm asking is the city's consideration to sell me a 3-foot by 6-foot piece of property next to a building at 305 North Main to facilitate the construction of an access point. Second,
Andy, do you have anything to add to that? Does it block anything? Is it in the way of anything?
I went down and measured this afternoon, and it leaves 8.5 inches from the parking space itself, so it would not impede parking.
All right. There's no questions. I'll make a motion to approve.
Well, I have a question. I
If I
want
can
to ask, how do we set a price?
So, let me ask this first. So the building inspectors received a written report with the intended use and verifying the property is properly zoned for that type of construction? Okay. And have all the department heads been notified with that report?
Do you understand that you probably have to work with the HDDC on design?
I've already done that.
You've done that? Very good.
No, I mean, great. So what we would do tonight is approve to sell it. Then it would go back to James for the agreement price.
Okay.
To be determined and come back and finalize.
I feel like we may be skipping just a few steps here.
What do you want to do?
So, I mean, the first step is once that request is made, the needs to be notified to all 5 department heads, and there has to be a 5-day time period for those department heads to provide some sort of negative comment or no comment at all, or positive comment.
Part of the ordinance also state property. Skip that step. Sure.
Absolutely.
That's why we now, you guys are in agreement for us, staff,
Bring it back to
department
us
heads,
with a sale price and all that.
sale price.
Correct. This is us saying, yes,
Go
we'll
ahead.
sell this.
Proceed.
And we'll proceed with the, all the legalities. Is that good for you? All right, I've made my motion to go ahead and.
I already
move forward.
seconded. I'll second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, next step is working with Andy, James, and that to figure out the legalities of it to get it all done.
Mr. Kramer?
Thank you.
I did see one thing while I was down there, and I don't know if it's yours or the tenants. There's a door that's on the ground floor that's on the side of the building. There's a no parking sign on that. It's a public parking lot. There can't be that sign there.
Have it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Melissa?
Mayor and Council, I'm bringing you a service agreement with the Hannibal Nutrition Center. You would have had in your packets the financial report from Margie Tucker, who is the executive director for the Hannibal Nutrition Center. She could not be in attendance. She was having some surgery and could not attend. So I'm presenting for her. This is the service agreement that the city does with the Hannibal Nutrition Center each year, which was also already been approved in your 24-25 budget, containing an appropriation of $18,357 for the service agreement with the Hannibal Nutrition Center. The city council did vote on that on June the 4th of 2024 to approve the funds to be allocated to the Hannibal Nutrition Center, and this is her presenting a agreement and the financial statement in order for you guys, us to release those funds to the Nutrition Center.
That's Resolution 2537-25. Lisa.
Good evening. The first item that I have for you this evening will be an emergency reading of an amendment to the payroll ordinance. As council voted to increase the fire and police salaries to a total of 7% for fiscal year 2025, we will need to amend the 2025 payroll ordinance to reflect those increases. I ask for your approval of this amendment for the 2025 payroll ordinance. Bianca did this up, but then she's out now, so I'm presenting for her.
Okay, and that's Bill 25-039 to follow, and that's for an emergency reading.
Second item I have before you is General Mills wishes to execute a fourth amendment to the lease of the city-owned warehouse property, which is referred to as the former Manchester Tank property. So this 10-year extension would start January 1st of 2025 and run through December 31st of 2034. They are making investment in conjunction with this lease amendment of approximately $1.1 million. Previously, the city has allowed General Mills to pay for the building improvements up front, and then has repaid General Mills, because it's a city-owned building, on a monthly basis by allowing a deduct from the rent. In this instance, we would only be allowing a 50% a reduction of the rent equal to 50% of the improvement, not 100% of the improvements, and the lease term would be for 10 years.
And that's Resolution 2539-25 to follow.
Yes, and the final item I have before you this evening is a recommendation of Hunter Haynes for Planning and Zoning Commission for an appointment to expire in June of 2027.
First reading. Andy?
Good evening, Mayor, Council. Tonight we have the engineering agreement for the airport fuel farm. I can't emphasize this enough, how many years we've been working on this.
How many?
At least, personally, I've been working on this for 5 years. This opportunity that this will never happen again. So we have been working with MoDOT, with FAA. Not something they normally do, is fuel farms. Our current underground low lead is several decades old, and so you don't like to have that underground for that long. And our above ground Jet A, which we sell most fuel, is nowhere near big enough. So we are in a perfect storm of money. Now we have 5 years of BIL money that I've been saving, and we have our non-entitlement money from the FAA. So one time that we're going to have enough money to do this project. So the engineering for this is $224,986, in which the grant will pay for 95% of that. So our portion is $11,229.00. And then there's grant agreements and paperwork that will accompany this.
All right.
And then the grant, sorry, Mike. The grant itself is going to be a combination of 95, 5 money, 90.
That's Resolution 2538-25 to follow.
Good evening. I'm here to talk about change order project. It is funded. Mayor's signature. Early on in construction, found the sewer service to 116 Street and through the actual rocks sewer. So it a temporary fix septic for public solution found. Reason waited so long. Sure, residents further west didn't have a similar issue. Around or after the first of the year, their sewer services top the storm sewer, so they would not be so to come up with a solution. Solution would be a tank, temporary tank would be to the property, pump would be installed. Discharge existing sanitary sewer service, sewer south side of the street. We work with the property solution that is agreeable. Language and documentation as construction. I'd like to seek your approval. This change. Nine. Back. That document.
Matt, you know, you used the word temporary tank. Is that going to be similar to a lifting station? Is that going to be
It's
will that
1,000
become
gallon septic
permanent?
tank.
Pardon me?
It's a 1,000-gallon septic tank. Right now, it's located in the street. That means it's on private property. Part of the solution, have that place that, move the tank out of the middle of the street, place it southeast corner.
Okay. And that's and that is the permanent solution for that
would be the
for that
permanent
address.
solution at that point. Install a pump, and that discharge of that pump would under the new storm sewer
Standard lifting
into
station.
the standard sewer.
All right. Thank you.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Megan?
Evening, Mayor and Council. My name is Megan Rapp. I'm the Executive Director of the Mark Twain Boyhood Home and Museum. I am bringing forward, basically it's the same thing from the last council meeting. The last council meeting, I was asking for a revised lease agreement for the city-owned property that's leased to the Mark Twain Home Foundation. You did approve it at the last council meeting, but it was not in the form of a resolution. It needs to be in the form of a resolution in order for the mayor to sign. So everything is identical to the last time. If anyone has any questions, I'm happy to answer them, but otherwise it's just a formality.
I'll make a motion.
Well, with
Sorry.
Resolution 253625.
Thank you.
Nate. All right, now we have bill number 25-039. I need to have a motion to have the clerk give this bill an emergency reading.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Bill number 25-039, an ordinance of the City of Hannibal amending the fiscal year 2024-2025 payroll ordinance number 2 relative to the raises awarded to the fire and police personnel. Emergency reading. Councilman Munger.
Yes.
Councilman Haycraft.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Dobson.
Yes.
Councilman Cohen.
Yes.
Councilman Phillips.
Yes.
Councilman Fleetwood.
Yes.
And Mayor Lauderman.
Yes. I declare bill number 25-039 duly approved and adopted on this day. Then we have resolution 2536-25. I need a motion to have the clerk read this resolution and call the roll for adoption.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Resolution 2536-25, a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute a lease agreement between the City of Hannibal and the Mark Twain Home Foundation for the continued leasing of the city property to be insured and maintained by the Mark Twain Home Foundation. Councilman Munger,
Yes.
Councilman Haycraft,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Dobson,
Yes.
Councilman Cohen,
Yes.
Councilman Phillips,
Yes.
Councilman Fleetwood,
Yes.
and Mayor Lauderman.
Yes. I declare resolution number 2536-25 duly approved and adopted on this day. And we have resolution 2537-25. I need a motion to have the clerk read this resolution and call the roll for adoption.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Resolution 2537-25, a resolution of the City of Hannibal authorizing the mayor to execute a one-year service agreement between the City of Hannibal and the Hannibal Nutrition Center in the amount of $18,357 for senior meals and related services. Councilman Munger,
Yes.
Councilman Haycraft,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Dobson,
Yes.
Councilman Cohen,
Yes.
Councilman Phillips,
Yes.
Councilman Fleetwood,
Yes.
Mayor Lauderman.
Yes. I declare resolution number 2537-25 duly approved and adopted on this day. Then we have resolution 2538-25. I need a motion to have the clerk read this resolution and call the roll for adoption.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Resolution 2538-25, a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute a $224,986 aviation project consult agreement with Wilper Incorporated for the engineering, design, bidding, and construction administration services for the airport fuel farm replacement project. Finally, no, it didn't say finally. Councilman Munger,
Yes.
Councilman Haycraft,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Dobson.
Yes.
Councilman Cohen.
Yes.
Councilman Phillips.
Yes.
Councilman Fleetwood.
Yes.
And Mayor Lauderman.
Yes. I declare resolution 2538-25 duly approved and adopted on this day. There you go. Perfect. Long wait done. I have resolution number 2539-25. I need a motion to have the clerk read this resolution and call the roll for adoption.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Resolution 2539-25, a resolution of the City of Hannibal authorizing the mayor to execute a fourth amendment to the lease agreement with GM Serial Properties Incorporated relative to the base rent for the use of the city property located at 3752 Warren Barrett Drive, Hannibal, Missouri. Councilman Munger,
Yes.
Councilman Haycraft,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Dobson,
Yes.
Councilman Cohen,
Yes.
Councilman Phillips,
Yes.
Councilman Fleetwood,
Yes.
and Mayor Lauderman.
Yes. I declare resolution number 2539-25 duly approved and adopted on this day. Before we adjourn, I have to say that this lease is very beneficial to both General Mills and the city of Hannibal, more so than it has been in the past. So, good job. Now I need a motion to adjourn.
So
Motion
moved.
moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.